Good evening, guys. How are we going on this freezing cold Monday night and the start of the week, or you should really start it this week on Sunday? I'm just going to share this to our alpha groups, which are all around the globe. So this is a large request. So throughout the week, I will share a number of different let's say topics. I like to call them TODs, topics of discussion, or topics or TOTs, topics of teaching. And these have been the ones, probably not exactly the same language, that have been popping up or have been on the lips of most people. And now in this uncertain time, especially here over in Australia, we've had our freedom taken away from us even more. There's a lot of distraction. So I want to give you these, these inner mind strategies that are going to make a big difference. And it's not just about taking in the information and listening and taking notes. It's about the application of it and mastering it. It's the application of information and the speed of implementation. So at the moment, I'm just sending this to a few groups, guys, and then I will have a quick look at who's on and how we will rock this bad boy out. Just having a quick look. Alright, so good evening, and I've tagged the team, so we've got the team on board. There we go, third time lucky. So how are we going? For some reason, sometimes when I share this to some groups, I'll say a quick hello and you tell me if you guys can see that message, and we are going to get ready to rumble. So look, if there's anything else that pops up or comes to the consciousness of what you guys have been experiencing or addressing, I've been speaking to a lot of the thought leaders around around the world through Skype and through obviously other technologies. And I asked them, so what's been the commonality of what you've been, the resistance that you've been receiving from your clients or from your team? And it's pretty much in not so much of these words, and I'm just going to get the live stream up on my computer, so then for some reason I can't see there. Hey Gina, how you going? Georgia and everyone else that's on. So the motivation, I always tell everyone, the motivation, Kate, how are you all the way from Boston? The motivation for today's session, or tonight's session I should say, over in America, it's good morning to Kate. Look, the session's going to be broken down into 3 subdomalities or paradigms. And obviously the first one is no one's coming to save you. Stand guard at the doors of your mind, and I'll explain that and go very deep into that. Session 2, realign your thoughts, feelings, beliefs, behaviors, and action so you'll be able to achieve your desires. And that's very, very important as well, because a lot of people are taking all this action, but they aren't actually, it isn't the efficient action. It isn't, we're not functioning nowhere near our, human potential or human ability. And, it really comes down to, again, just not being in alignment. There's so much distraction going on, collective consciousness, and so on and so forth. If you're not concentrating of daily programming your own beliefs, then someone else is going to be doing that for you, which the media is. So session 3 is vibrate higher than any dark or low energy person or being isn't serving you, the world, and higher purpose. So what that means is, it's quite simple. I'll turn this down for a little bit. Hey Pablo, great to have you on, buddy. It's been a while, mate. I'm just gonna turn this fan down because it's blowing like a tornado in the background. So let's get ready to rumble. So the first part of this live stream or live coaching is no one is coming to save you. Stand guards at the doors of your mind. I like to create more leaders to stand on their own 2 feet, not more followers, that people become reluctant. I need my coach, or I need my antidepressants, I need my psychologist, I need a partner, I need something else. I want to create people that can stand on their own 2 feet, and in times of diversity, in times of uncertainty, of times when the government is playing us like puppets and just completely taking our fundamental rights away, that we can stand on our own 2 feet and we can become adaptable, because intelligence is adaptability and adaptability is intelligence. I know one thing that I'll tap myself on my back, on the back of my bald head, that in my life I've had to become adaptable, or otherwise I wouldn't be able to survive. There's things that I've caused, there's things that have been out of my control, and there are some things that are out of our control. And if you don't become adaptable and intelligent to be able to flow through the process, not push for it, not hustle, not grind, hustle and grind and all the rest of that, go and Google what hustle means. It's to rip someone off. Grinding is hard, and you don't want to grind, but flowing through life, it's going to give you, and these aren't just like little catchwords, these aren't little hashtag this and all the rest of it. It's what it is, it's certain words that we use. It's either going to stimulate our brain and create an electromagnetic field, which is going to stimulate our nervous system, and we're going to fucking actually do something, or our brain's just going to be like, like when you're trying to start the car and then you got a flat battery, and that's exactly like our atomic nervous system, or let's just say our human our human evolution. So when we talk about no one is coming to save us, that I know a lot of people have been in some really dark places, and they've said that. They've said when they've needed somebody there, not many people have been around, yeah? Or when they've gone around other people, they've gotten worse. So what I'm saying by that, and the feedback that I'm getting, especially from a lot of different thought leaders and coaches and mentors and experts around the world, that if people don't have their own breadcrumbs, of their bread trail, if people don't have their own, their let's say your own wings, you know what I mean? So if you want to be able to, if you fall out of the nest, you can fly. And what I mean by that, it's your own morning routines. It's your own, don't get me wrong, I lean on my coaches, on my family, on my team a lot, and that's because we've created that. But at the end of the day, if I took away my coaches, my team, my family, everybody, my social aspect, that I'd still be able to stand on my feet just as strong, or probably even more stronger, because when we know we can fall back a little bit, what do? Oh yeah, beautiful, I'll lean back. It's like this chair. Yeah, okay, cool, I'll lean back. But if I put that there, it's up straight. Do you know what I mean? But because I know I can actually lean back, I'm going to take advantage of it, and I'm going to relax a little bit, and that's just human behavior. But what I'm getting at, that I know a lot of people that have been depressed. I know a lot of people that have been suicidal. I know a lot of people and they're thinking that, when they've wanted their friends to be around, or they've needed their friends, or they've needed that attention, or they needed that love, they've needed that support, it hasn't been there for them. And if it's there, it's a bonus. But you shouldn't have to want to look, for the love, for the respect, for the company, for the support in others. You want to be able to build that within yourself, and I see a lot of people, what they're doing in their life and feedback, and they're going down the wrong path because they're wanting to be distracted on certain activities or certain situations where they haven't healed past relationship breakups, or insecurity problems, and low self-esteem, self-sabotage, and all these things that they haven't healed, but they want to go and take on all this new activity. And it's like a mythology that I was telling Kate this morning in a coaching session. But I tell a few of my clients, but it always sticks with me and Kate. And I remember we went over it today. So imagine a wall, yeah, and there's someone's punched a hole in the wall, and these are like broken, through our experience, there's wounds that haven't been healed, and whatever it might have been. You've been hurt by someone, relationship, uncertainty, limiting beliefs, limiting decisions, just many things that don't serve you. So what you keep doing, you want to make that look good, and that's your representation of yourself. And that's the outside. And all you're doing is painting over these holes, but because you aren't spending the time to actually or to fill these holes up, whatever it's called, what's the word, plaster over these holes, spend the time, what you don't really want, and be able to go over the rough edges and smooth them over, focus on them. But when you do go to paint over it, you go, wow. And what happens is, the TV wants to talk. And what happens is, people, just give me 2 seconds, but I'll turn this fan down just a little bit. Cool. You can hear it blowing in the background. So people are wanting to, on their exterior, on their life, they're wanting it to look fine. They're wanting it to look, presentable. They're wanting it to look, okay, my life and they're wanting to feel supported, they're wanting to feel secure, certain, and because they haven't actually had time to stand guards at the doors of their mind, to do the work, to putty over the holes, and then when it's time to add more education or a new relationship or a new job or a new focus point or a new hobby, then that's when they can actually have the wall painted because they've done the patch up work. Yeah, you know what I'm meaning by that. And and it takes some time. You get a lot of people that you see, they come to a perspective where they're still healing from a breakup, or they're going through a transition into a new career. And now, with the COVID, they've lost their job and they go, okay, I'm going to study to go into this, or I'm going to get smart to be online, or I'm going to change things up, or now I really need to get back into my routines. So there's a little bit of, it's growth. And at the moment, what you need to be doing, you don't want to be rushing yourself. And when I'm talking about no one is coming to save you, because if you're always putting your mind in, I'll get a coach and everything will be fine, that's going to speed up the process and keep you on the process, and you're going to get to the path of least resistance. I know that being a coach, having hundreds of clients and being coached by coaches as well, and having experts in my social group, that's going to help. But how I get taught is I get pushed in the deep end, learn how to swim. Yeah, I get pushed out of the nest, you better fly. You get pushed off the cliff, you better find a way to get back up. So you get broken, and it's up to you to remake yourself. But the thing about no one is coming to save you. If you've come out of a relationship and it hasn't served you, or you haven't healed and you haven't learned, and then you jump back into a new one, then that's not you standing guards at the doors of your mind. That's not you saying, hey, no one's coming. Well, someone else is coming to save me. I also know people that even if they're in a relationship or they're married, they look for an exit thing straight away when times get a little bit hard. You're in it for the long run. Find a way, adapt. As long as it's safe, it's serving you, and so on. I know so many people that I'm hearing, especially in this time, friendships are breaking up. There's obviously relationships. There's been, people being on top of each other. So obviously there's been marriage that breaks up. There's been abuse. There's been all these, just energy that hasn't been fantastic. And it doesn't need to be that way. And what's happening now is no excuse for it as well, because people are becoming bored. They're becoming undisciplined, and they're not loving themselves enough to go, I'm bored. And you're bored. You've got all this free time to completely transform your lives, and you're saying you're bored. And then it's just like, but when you're doing something, and it's the reverse engineering. Oh, geez, I wish I had some time. Like, I'll be honest with you, here in Melbourne, in Australia, especially we're getting looked after. We are very blessed. It's safe. We don't have bombs dropping through. We don't have riots. People are getting, the job, they're getting government funded. So it's not that bad. But every time you keep looking at that TV, you're not standing guards at the doors of your mind. Every time you're getting into a racial argument and all the rest of it, you're not standing guards at the doors of your mind. When you're going through mindless social media that it's not going to be improving or adding, or any conversation's not going to be adding to your future, then you're not standing guards at the doors of your mind. No one is coming to save you, even if you are living with your husband, wife, kids, or whatever, because your thoughts start and end in here. Yeah? No one knows what you say until you say it. No one knows what you feel until you express it. No one knows your experience until you relate that. So what I'm saying is, everything starts and ends in here, and this is where you need to have the correctness. You need to have the knowing. You need to be able to stand guards at the doors of your mind and be very mindful what information you're letting in and what information that you are going to regurgitate out. Okay? So that's session 1 of this live coaching. So any questions, let me know, guys, if you want. And like I said, there's a lot of you are sending me some inboxes saying, Lee, I'd love to know more about this. Can you please inbox me, blah, blah, give me a call. And I'll do this, not tonight, because after the live stream, I'm going to unwind and unplug. 9 o'clock, I've got an early start tomorrow, but then tomorrow I'll get in contact with you guys. So session 2 is something that I taught last week, and it's realigning your thoughts, feelings, beliefs, behaviors, and actions, so you'll be able to achieve your desired outcome. What that is internal alliance. That is how our thought process, or our success growth mindset, that's the chain of command. Yeah. Hey, Ashley, how are you, and everyone else? Yep, it is actually. And great to have you on, and obviously everyone else as well. I'll stay in flow. So what happens is that a lot of people want to take action, and they want to go out to all the way to action. And if you have a look at that, normally it's P, T, so P for programming, T for thoughts, F for feelings, B for beliefs. That's your internal world. That's all in your internal world. Your outer world is then you've got behaviors, actions equaling do, which is meaning, desired outcomes. So the reason why I say desired outcomes, because it actually is proven, it stimulates more of a magnetic and more of electromagnetic force and field of your brain instead of when you say goals, because most people refer to goals in sporting terms, kicking a goal, scoring a goal, and this is all proven. Yeah, I've done the test of hooking your brain to an EEG machine, which are electro something, and it talks about the brain activity, what's getting stimulus or stimuli, what's getting stimulated and not. Yeah. So the other thing is that when we talk about realigning your thoughts, that people want to be changing their life and they want to take action, but their internal processing system, they know meditation is, I heard meditation's good and it can give me some peace, it can clear my mind, it's supposed to do some things, but the thing is, what you need to understand is it's what you're constantly switching off from the distraction of the world and going within and not writing, because you can hide behind your writing, not talking about, but actually stopping, you don't need to call it meditation, and it's just being with yourself, but spending enough time, focus, awareness, consciousness, understanding, but more importantly, feeling that energy and centering yourself and spending that time not on social media, not what your friends are doing out there, not being around, anybody, being on the TV, being on any tech, and being and connecting and feeling of what you're desiring in your life, and breaking all your life areas up and spending the time of the identity of your health. Yeah. What is the consciousness of that? What is the knowing? What is the attraction energy? What's the identity? But what it's about is it's like a rehearsal. In all your different life areas, it's a must. And I say that, I don't say things is a must a lot. It's more of a recommendation. Why I say it's a must? Because all your life areas should be like, Power Rangers, a completely different identity, because you don't want to be the same identity as you are in your health identity or at the gym as you want to be in your relationship, or what happens in your business, career, and wealth. You're in the relationship and it's like, no, you need to get out of that energy. You're there to be that masculine, feminine, that balance, and so on. You don't want to be who you are, the boss, the whoever, the operator in your job, and then coming back home and having that energy. It's going to clash. Being that person for your kids, it doesn't work. Even being that person at the gym, you're constantly worrying about this and you need to do that. You're not going to get a great workout. So it's very important to be able to switch off to that energy, put all that energy in that life area, in your health, engulf that. And what that's going to do, automatically, that's going to align. When you're doing the internal programming, then everything else, what lasts from that is your thoughts, and be mindful of the thoughts that you are thinking towards that desire. You don't need to be always going positive and affirmations and I'm going to get it, because that's almost like you're holding the pen. If you keep strangling the pen, there's tension. Yeah. So being able to be in flow and be mindful of what thoughts are coming up. Yeah. And if there's thoughts that aren't serving you, write them down. Why are they coming up? Then reprogram them. If they keep coming up because they're old habits, they're old subconscious programs, then what you want to be doing is you want to be flipping them over to what you're desiring, what thoughts are going to be serving you. So once you do that, and when you go to your feelings, you want to be very mindful of when you are connecting, going within to all your different life areas. How are you feeling about those different life areas? Is there uncertainty? Is there complete conviction? Is there scarcity? Is there empowerment? Be mindful, write it down. Ask yourself questions. Why am I feeling like this? Because of this situation. There could be a conscious connection. There could be a subconscious connection. So be very mindful about the different things of how you're feeling, yeah? Because some people want to suppress their feelings and they keep taking the action, but their feelings aren't aligning, or they aren't feeling the way they desire or they need to be to keep moving on and achieving what they desire. The other thing is and this is the big game changer. That's why programming, all of these are just as important, but the one that I like to focus on, especially with myself, and I like to focus going deep into with my clients is beliefs. Yeah. What I mean by that, your belief system is everything. Your belief system is what's next. Because you could be taking all this action, but if you're not really believing what you're doing, or you don't believe in meditation, or you don't believe in that you can change your mind, or you don't believe what I'm saying, or you don't believe that, when you do this stuff, how it can completely change your mind. The reason why most people don't have strong beliefs and don't achieve what they want in their life, because they haven't experienced it now. And because they haven't experienced it now, they haven't felt it. They haven't had it in their life. And because they haven't experienced it and they haven't felt it, they've only had something, their belief is only enough to be flatlined, to take action, just to be busy, being busy and filling up their day. And the thing with that is, and that is one of the biggest human, let's say, letdowns or failures. I won't say failures because we keep evolving, that I have been involved with, or of that I've experienced through my time traveling around the world, working with people one-on-one for the last 13 years, yeah? People's belief system is nowhere near as strong as it should be and as it can be, because they have not experienced, we're conscious creators, and because we haven't experienced it now, we haven't touched it, we haven't smelt it, we haven't felt it. That we can get a coach, we can get an expert, we can get, someone that's been there, done that, a leader to take us on the path, and we will take action, but it will be nowhere near our true potential, our true ability. We won't be connecting to our higher self, and it won't be our higher path. And I've seen this with, with some of my clients, that they know their potential, they know they're great, they know they're intelligent, they know they're deserving. But because they haven't experienced it, because the programming, when you meditate, what you're doing is you're taking yourself out to the future, and you are taking yourself out to the future and experiencing, feeling as if you have achieved it in the future. That's probably the best way that I can say why I become familiar with, rehearse my life, meditation. Because I'm constantly not living who I want to be today. Yes, I'm present. Yes, I'm grateful. Yes, I'm aware and conscious. But when you are meditating, I'm stopping from what I am doing today, closing a sense, backing away from the distraction. I'm going within to change my elevated emotion, set my intention. And what I'm doing is I'm shifting my consciousness to how I need to consciously operate. My knowing to how do I know I'm achieving it, my attraction energy to have the energy inside to draw what I desire. My identity is my complete engulfed identity. And then my livable action, what am I taking day by day, which is my livable action in all my life areas, my health, my wealth, my contribution, my family legacy, my relationship with myself, and my passion and purpose, which engulfs all my spiritual awakening. Yeah. So as you can see, that's from the heart, and that's what I'm doing. And what that is doing is I'm not being who I am today, because who I am today is not going to support or serve me for who I want to be in the future, even tomorrow, even the day after, even the next week. So what you're doing is you are not acting or faking it to you're making it. You are shifting your energy, you're raising your emotion, setting your intention. Your beliefs need to shift, your values, your internal motivators, drivers. You are changing your personality to change your personality, the way you think, the way you feel, and the way you act is all of that. And then you are taking yourself into the future, and it's a constant shift into the future. And that's my probably my most accurate understanding in my life of how you want to meditate, because you aren't being who you are today at that level. You're shifting yourself to that higher consciousness into the future. It's almost time travel. So when you do that, your thoughts, your feelings, your beliefs, your behaviors, your actions, you're not thinking about all those together. They're automatically going to align, so you'll be able to achieve your desired outcome. Yeah? Does that make sense, guys? I know it's a bit of a, in a nutshell. All right, got some questions that have popped up. Kate, the other day I visually rehearsed a bike ride before I went to get really specific and good rehearsing for the future. It worked really well, and it's more specific task. Beautiful. Because when we're visualizing, hey, Matty Ferguson, great to have you on, man. A great thing. Maddie's a great mate of mine and a great PT, and we're in a business together as well. And even the visualization of before you train, and I'm sure you do that, Maddie, as well. You've been an AFL star. You've done many great things. That when you are, even before you go to work out, and this is proven, there was 3 studies of males that are around the same age, same, say, genetic, same ability, and there was three different, let's say, study groups. So there was one study group that would do the bicep curls. They did the bicep curls just normal. There was one study group that visualized doing the 12 reps, the bicep curls, and then did the bicep curls. There was the third one that would just visualize doing the bicep curls, but with no action. Who do you think, or let's say the last one was a very intense visualization, and it was a longer visualization, double the time from case 1, case 2, and they didn't even, and that there was just double the time, but they didn't pick up a weight. So the first one was, I think they did bicep curls for how minute, say it was 5 minutes. So they did the bicep curls 5 minutes, and they just physically did it. They didn't visualize before, they just picked it up and they did. The second case group, they would rehearse. I think they rehearsed a couple of minutes before, then they would go and perform the bicep curls. Then the last group would very deeply visualize doing the bicep curls, their muscle fibers expanding, and it was a deeper visualization, and it was for double the time. Who do you think, what group, 1, 2, or 3, who got the most growth in the muscle fibers? And this is proven, because they've taken the muscle fibers, they've seen, obviously when you the muscles are contracting and not. So case 1, case 2, or case 3? Who do you guys not think? Who do you feel? I was quite surprised about this, and then it was actually an experiment Dr. Joe Dispenza did as well, and he talked a little bit about it, and I was on one of the group coaching sessions that we're in. I asked the question, and the science behind it, because there was a different shift in certain brain activity, that it secreted, it was more accurate. It was more accurate in that. So I'll tell you what the answer is. Pablo goes case 3. Anyone else? What about you, Maddie? You being a PT, what do you feel? I think Pablo knows he just knows my storytelling. So when I'm telling the stories, he knows where the energy's going or my tonality, and he understands it because we've worked together for a while. So any other going once, going twice, any other guesses, or what are you feeling? Why did my vapor go off? I must have, because I've kicked it. Come on, anyone else? No one wants to guess. Maddie goes 3. Ooh. The big fella. So, Sue Mason, oh my God, blockers, can't listen to him. Yeah, if it was no go for me, my ex used to go to forums. Let me have a look. Statements, and he's too irrational with his communication. Don't know who that is. Replying to Susie, oh my God, too many blockers. Can never listen to him. Yeah, not too sure what that's got to do with that. All right, so Pablo and Maddie has gone, and they've gone with the 3. So you guys are absolutely correct. And I'm glad that you said that, because I would have thought it would have been the visualization, then the action. So what the outcome was, and obviously why most people understood this, just give me 2 seconds, guys. And why most people understood this was, and how and what I would have thought, okay, you visualize, you stimulate, you know, the growth, your brain's been fired off, you've practiced, you've rehearsed it, and then because you are physically doing it, you are, you know, tearing the muscles and you're going to get that growth. The thing with that was that it came to an understanding of that even the physical activity, because you haven't rehearsed it, you're almost unconscious incompetent, or conscious competent, sorry, that you aren't performing the exercise as accurate as your body could do it. You aren't telling your muscle fibers to contract the way they can. You aren't talking about stimulating the muscle growth and the IGF-1 and growth hormone and lactic acid and that. These are all the commands that they were told. Plus, because they did it, it was a lot more controlled, a lot more specific, and a lot more precise. So if you think about that, that is amazing that we are changing our muscle fibers, we're changing our DNA, our genes, just by visualization, thought, and specific commands that we're focusing on being able to give us, you know, that deep understanding of how we, as humans, can evolve and our potential. So, you know, that was something that was really, so you know one of the things as well, what do we normally do when we've put on a bit of weight? We normally pinch, oh yeah, I've got, you know, the tuck shop arms, or geez, I put on a bit of weight around my stomach, I've got the man boobs. What we're doing, we're neurologically, so we are actually anchoring and saying to ourselves and our body, pressing it to create more fat cells. And this is proven. Where we're grabbing certain areas, our bodies, there's cells. So when you're grabbing it, you're neurologically, it's like an anchor. So there's things that you can do with NLP and, you know, a lot of the advanced peak performance where you can neurologically connect with certain things and, you know, anchor certain points. You can remember certain things and then, you know, do what you need to do. You can press a certain point. So your cells, your muscle tissue all have like little antennas. So if you're putting in, I'm fat, I'm overweight, I'm not this, I don't like my body, I've got no muscle, then they're going to go, oh, okay, you're sending us a signal. Because what you fire, you wire. And you create what you fire, so the signal, the message, you start to wire and create neuroplasticity. Plus, when you're creating that, you're creating a physical habit in the brain, you're creating that pathway. But when you are actually neurologically touching parts of your body, what you are doing, you are saying for those cells to grow. It's like people have healed cancer cells, injury. If you keep going, oh, my knee, you're sending that message down to the nervous system, down to, you know, if you've got internal bruising, internal bleeding. And now we have the science, we have the, you know, the evidence now to go, wow, that we can stop inflammation, we can, you know, we can heal ourselves. And, you know, this is, as I say, guys, disclaimer, these are things that I've, you know, experimented myself. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a, you know, I do heal people, but I'm not claiming. So the disclaimer is what, go and do your research. You know, you have your own trial and error of a lot of things as well. So don't, oh, because Lee said I'm going to do this. You know, there's the ways you do things. You know, people could say, oh, I'm doing it, but are you actually doing it the right way? You're doing it with the right ability, spending enough time. Because again, like what we said in session 1 of this live stream, that because we aren't seeing the results now, we stop. Because we aren't seeing the body transform, because we aren't feeling, you know, 100% straight away, we stop. The biggest thing that you can understand with what I can teach you through self-development and changing your life, stick with it. Because there will be just that time when you just get over that gap, or the next day, and you will start to feel different, you experience something different. And that's when, because when you feel different, your belief system changes, your behavior changes, then your behavior is efficient to take the required action. So instead of taking this much action, it's aligned for you to achieve what you desire. So stick with it. Don't keep waiting for, you want the quick fix now, and you know you're wanting something now. Just let me, just gonna remove that. All right, cool. Any questions from that? And really good feedback from Pablo and Maddie. Should put some of that in your training as well. I should come over one day and I can show you how to do the rehearsal, and you know, you'd probably know how to do it, but there's other ways you can stimulate. It's not just rehearsing the actual activity, the muscles, mind into muscle, or the mind and body into connection. There's some other little hacks that I can show you. All right, so can still see everyone's. Can you guys see this? If I write hello, did that come up? Yeah, it did. So everyone good? Just give me 2 thumbs up if you can hear me, see me. If you've got any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. I'll just give it up. Bringing it all back. Awesome. It's great to have you. Great to have you back, Mr. Pablo. We have to get on the call, man. I'm looking forward to catching up with you and your beautiful family. Okay, so session 3 or section 3. I said session 3 in this, yeah? We'll rock that out. So vibrate higher than any low dark energy, personal being that isn't serving you, the world, your higher purpose, and so on. So what does that mean? So at the moment, the collective consciousness, so the collective thought pattern, the collective what's predominantly on our minds around the world is COVID. Am I going to get sick? The restrictions, uncertainty, when are things going to go back, and and so on. We've got the separation with the racism, Black Lives Matter, all lives don't matter, this, that, and so there's a lot of other things going on, yeah? Like you see, it's so funny that you see the news, how they place this, and there's stabbings, there's that, and now we've got African gangs here in Melbourne, and this kid got stabbed and all the rest of it. And the funny thing is, this stuff is always happening. Whites and blacks are killing each other. Cops have done that. Gangs have been killing that in America, and it's been happening for hundreds of years. So now the media has chosen to create this focus. People, young kids that I know because I work and with these, these youth workers, I know what happens around Melbourne. People are getting shot and stabbed every day. But why are they choosing to focus on it now? The African gangs have been here for so long. Why are they focusing on this now? So what I'm getting at, that when we talk about vibrating higher, it's shifting your energy, about having your energy so high that it automatically, energy overrides anything. Because when we talk about energy, consciousness, and when you get yourself into the consciousness, it changes matter, it changes your body, changes the chemicals. So when you want to think positive and you're not shifting your energy, this is fail safe. This is your safety net, because when you can shift your energy, automatically your programming is going to be, you're shifting your energy, your body's going to go into I call it mastery chemistry. So it's going to start secreting oxytocin, which is like, a comfortable feeling, like you're getting a hug of someone you love. Serotonin is going to make you feel good. Dopamine, it's all these feel-good hormones. When you start raising your energy, you're moving your body. We're meant to be moving. And when I'm saying raise your elevated emotion, automatically you're programming your thoughts, your feelings, your beliefs, your behaviors, and then the actions you're going to take are going to be, they might not be 100% what you need to achieve, but they're going to be on the same path. So the more that you're raising your elevated emotion and shifting your energy, raising your energy, you're not going to, is anyone like a song that you love? A song that you love, like I love, Eye of the Tiger, Jump Around, I love, rap music. Do you think in that moment when I'm flowing, am I negative? Am I vibrating low? Am I thinking about darkness, distraction, COVID? Am I thinking about all of that? Or I'm in this peak state and I'm loving it, I'm in flow, I'm enjoying it, I'm taking that in, I'm really being present. Yeah? And that's a big difference. It can be a song, it could be something that you love. When you're raising that, you're raising an elevated emotion. I'm not saying to you guys to forget about what's going on and not to be aware of what's going on. I'm not saying that at all. But okay, yeah, you know what's going on. Now let's get back to let's get back to the game. You know what I mean? Okay, let's get back down to business. Let's start to get dirty again. When I mean, get back to business, let's start getting dirty again. Let's start focusing on our path. Because yeah, okay, the COVID and there's this and uncertainties and that's changed, and okay, great. You know what? I'm not looking at flying. I don't want to go across the border. All right, some gyms have opened. It's what's in your environment, what you've become adaptable for. Put the energy of what you need to get the result, then go on, get back on the path. Okay, the racism, there's messages and all that. All right, great. This is what I feel about it. That's it. Like I've put some of my of my thoughts and opinions out there, and it's just you're gonna get, of course people are, it's just a waste of time. Like where are you getting with it? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, what do you want to do about it? Are you gonna change the world? You fucking aren't. So get back onto it, put your energy into yourself, be around people that you're gonna have an equal exchange of value, and start putting your energy and thoughts and everything, vibration, raising that energy into time and focus into what's actually going to change your life. Because if you have a week to live, would you be wasting your time on all of them? It's not mindless stuff, but it's distracting. Yeah. So bad news everywhere, bringing out low self-esteem. Yeah, look, and it's if we allow it, if you're sitting there and just constantly, listening to that shit. Like at the moment, I had on in the background. Now I've got that just more of a chilled out 4K, a visual thing. But today I was listening to Bob Proctor about Think and Grow Rich, about how he come from nothing, not very educated, and how he's made multi-millions. I was listening to Tony Robbins. He was breaking down, talking about standards. In 2 years, shift your standards. That's the only time you're going to live. That's the only time you're going to change. That's, and he was saying progression equals happiness. And it doesn't need to be always change and progress, but constant progression equals happiness. And it's so true. If you're constantly improving, then that is going to give you the journey of, hey, you know what? I'm improving. I've got this. And you keep that happiness. It's not like going from $0 to $1 million. No, it's the journey in between that. So, sorry guys, I bit my lip, a bit of skin's hanging. I get excited and either I throw up on myself or I bite my lip, as my team knows. So the thing is, don't be around people that are having the conversation, low vibration, racism, this, negativity. Get out of the area. Like yesterday, I went to dinner with one of my good friends, and one of the places that went, I could hear these ladies next to us, even with that separation, and they were so negative and rah, 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 and it was just, I couldn't wait to get away from it. And I'm looking over and I'm like, look, didn't say any wedding rings, obviously they didn't have any partners there, and I'm like, well, this is just me being opinionated. I'm like, no shit, because everything was negative. Everything was this, there was that. They'll even say we're talking too loud. And these people about, you know what I mean? It was just like, how is that adding any value to yourself? How is that adding any value to the world? And that's what I think, that's what you guys, when I talk about, let's vibrate higher than any person that isn't serving you the world and, with your higher purpose. Think about energy, your thoughts, anything, your thoughts, your feelings, your behaviors, all of that internal programming system. Is any of that or all of that, is that going to move you closer or away from your goals? If it isn't, you are wasting your time, because I promise you, if you're looking up at the hospital ceiling in a hospital bed, looking up there, what is going to happen is you are going to be looking up there, and if you don't have time, when time's taken away from you, what is going to be happening is you're going to go, oh, I should have done this and I should have done that and I could have done that and I should have changed these things up. But unfortunately, we're programmed and conditioned to only change in pain, when it's force, when we got some bad feedback. Oh, geez, I better change my health now because now I've gone to the doctors and they've said I've got this. Or I better become a better person because this person. Or I better say, I better, make more money because I'm about to get evicted. Or I better whatever it needs to do because of, I'm just not understanding the world. I keep making bad choices. And that's what you need to understand, is that start working on yourself because you deserve it now. Don't wait until, you're ahead. You're ahead, you're healthy, you're around the right environment, you're on a higher consciousness learning, you're spending the time to better yourself. You've got the time. So let's start moving forward. Let's start putting that time and effort into being very mindful awareness. If I pick up this pen, have I picked it up like a leader, and what am I doing with it? Am I wasting time, or I'm going to write something down on that piece of paper, a strategy, a reminder, like a download that's going to change my life? Am I sending messages to people on social media, scrolling? I always ask myself, is this moving me closer? No, turn it off. What do I want to do? Okay, switch off to all social media, all tech. What do I want to watch? An informative movie, or watch something that's going to relax me. If I'm relaxed, is that going to move me closer because I'm going to feel refreshed? And I run these programs and these assurances in my mind, and these strategies. Is it moving me closer or is it moving me away? people in my environment. You know, if it's constantly negative or people are time wasters, I'm not going to give that anything. I'm not going to even, you know, I'm not going to entertain it. See you later. You know, I'm only wanting high value people in my life, in my environment, the exchange. You know, it doesn't even matter if people will pay me ridiculous money. If they're not adding value into it, if it isn't easy, you know, someone goes, I'm going to be a hard student. I say to them, no, you're not. I won't let you be a hard student. You'll get one chance. The second chance, I'll say, well, if you don't step up to the vibration, then you're gone. And then it comes to that understanding. Like, if people aren't, you know, I've been, you know, I'm obviously single now. I've been going on dates, catching up with girls, catching up with my mates. And it doesn't matter, like within a half an hour, if someone isn't going to be of that high vibration, and if it's not going to be a great exchange, it's humorous, it's light, it's funny, it's whatever it might be, you know, see you later. And that's just the standards I have now. You know, Tony Robbins says the only thing that is going to change your life is when you raise your standards. Because once you raise your standards, that's when everything else comes up with you. That's when your routines, your habitual habits, that's when your beliefs, that's when your values, that's when you know, your boundaries, everything comes up to you raising your standards. What will you put up with? What won't you put up with? What work, you know, your standards, are you just an amateur, or do you want to be an expert? And if you are an expert and you want to live an expert life, or whatever it might be, because, you know, people say professional. What does professional mean? If you want to be at that level, just to give you guys a reference point, then it's not just you saying that your whole life, what you eat, your training, the people around you, how you speak, all those different things. If you want to be raising that, it's not that, oh, I'm going to sleep in today, or I'm going to waste time on social media today, or I'm going to, you know, whatever, just mindless reading the newspaper and watching TV today, and, you know, dribbling and eating friggin' corn chips on Netflix. That's not it. Look, don't get me wrong. There's times when it's great to just switch off. Like after here, I'm going to switch off completely. I'm not going to worry, or not worry, but I'm not going to think about my clients or this and that. Tomorrow morning, we'll get back into that. But it's so important when I talk about vibrate high and any low energy. Firstly, make sure that your environment, you aren't challenged in your environment with another person or client that you guys are doing this. Yeah? Because if you always have to raise your vibration, then you've got someone that's negative and they're wanting to take you down, or they're an energy vampire and they're sucking their energy out of you. It's draining. You're unaligned. You aren't communicating, or other people that you're living in the area, or it could be in a workplace. You go to a workplace and you're getting challenged and people are disruptive, or you're going to a social aspect where there's bullying and no respect and blah blah blah. Whatever. There could be racism in that. Then that is your fault. If you're putting yourself in a physical environment where already it's a low vibration, and people go, oh, but it's a job. What else am I going to do? There's many things you can do. Yeah, it's like, oh, I needed to steal because I didn't have money. Well, if you really wanted to get money, you can get it. So it's no excuse. You know what I mean? Oh, I needed to steal that whatever because I couldn't eat. If you really wanted, us humans, if there is a will, there will be a way. So firstly, don't be in an environment where you're going to be constantly challenged. Don't be in an environment where the vibration is already low, that you need to raise your vibration and put in more effort to account. Can you guys still, oh, now we're back. My thing there just froze up. You can't control what you can't control 100%. Absolutely. It's just not about the desired outcomes, really about who you become on the way to get to your desired outcome. Exactly. Like I was telling you today, one of the most important things that you can remember and connect with is the journey. It's who you commit. Don't lose yourself in the process. Like, you could be going to a job place or workplace where people are negative, low vibration, different, on a completely different level, but yes, you'll be challenged, but you can allow it, you can get great and not letting it affect you. Yeah, but how many times, I don't want to be in an environment where I constantly have to go like that or constantly challenged. I want to be in an environment where I'm like this, add value. Because if I'm constantly challenged to not get angry or not be responsive or reactive or all that, I don't want to always be tested. Even in a relationship, I put up with it because, you have to think about it. You either lead the situation, or you leave it. Hey, look, this is challenging me. This is not sitting right. I didn't appreciate that. You know, clear communication. And if you love each other enough, you will be able to communicate, and you will come to a higher understanding of yourselves. Yeah, it's in friendships, in anything. Like even with the coaching situation as well. Like people, if they get, they can get quite, their emotions go high and the intellect goes down. And the easiest thing is, I'll run. You know, then you see some people 3 months down the track, and you're like, what the fuck have you guys done with your life? And it's like, nothing. And I'm like, yeah, exactly. You know, and you feel bad because in those 3 months, they could have been so much higher. Well, I know this because of my own getting my ass kicked myself. So this is me not just pointing the finger. I'm saying this myself because I'm the student before I become the teacher in everything that I share. So thank you all for your time. Thank you all for your presence, your contribution, your feedback, and more importantly, just thank you all for being yourself. Much love to you all. I'm Lee Bundy, the CEO of the Ultimate Flow Experience, FlowX Project, and Beast Mode International. And guys, we're doing some great things. We're doing a lot of healing. We're starting to get our retreats up and running. We don't really know yet when we can travel, but we're starting to put the spark out there, talking to my team in Bali. I'm going to be doing transformational like little workshops here in Melbourne. So that's going to be a big one. Plus, we've got our online program where we're doing a lot of personal development, mindset, leadership, NLP, which is going around the world. We're giving a lot of people, it's almost like a first aid kit of being able to give them the mindset and hopefully a lot of the tools that I've shared with you tonight, because this is a lot of feedback from some of my other clients, from me just collaborating with some of my network, which is some great thought leaders and coaches around the world. So this will be shared on their pages as well, and they're on their pages are doing very similar things as well. So thank you guys, much love. I'm going to share this. I'm going to download it on my YouTube channel as well. So get over to my YouTube channel, subscribe, get on there, because a lot of my teachings that I know that are really going to make an impact, I'm going to put them there, put them up on the YouTube channel, share, get it out there, share the love, and have an amazing night, guys. Take care. You're welcome.